Okay, Coach Carl coming to you today from Carl's office. I'm up picking up the kids from school today, and so the video is indoors here. Okay, what you're looking at there, this is my wonderfully artistic rendition of a putting green, looking at it from the top, and that little green dot that represents the middle of that putting green. And why have I drawn that on the board? Well, because today we're going to talk a little bit about course management and being able to, with your approach shots, learn how to make those as efficient as you possibly can so that you can shoot lower scores. So here's the rule. At least this is Coach Carl's rule. There might be some other folks who have their own rules for this, but this is my rule. If you have not had a golf score in the 70s, so if you have only shot in the 80s or higher, then on your approach shot, which means that's the shot that you hope is going to land on the green, on your approach shot, that green dot, the middle of the green, is always going to be your target. All right? Always going to be your target, that green dot right there. If you have shot in the 70s and you can shoot between 75 and 80, then you can start dividing this green into hemispheres, right? So that if you have a hole location that's in the northern hemisphere, this will be the southern hemisphere over here, then that distance to that center point right there becomes your new target. If the flag is in the northern hemisphere up over here, then that distance to that center point of that hemisphere becomes your new target. If you are approaching scratch, so you're a single digit handicapper, and you've shot at par before, then depending on where the flag location is, you can try and divide this into quadrants, and now your new targets become the center points of those targets, the distance to those targets. Obviously, maybe not so obviously, so I shouldn't say that, but if you are to the point where you're dividing up the green, you also have to take into account where the trouble might be, and so you might play away from that. So let's say your flag is over here, right? But all along this side there's a hazard, then you're still going to play to this side of the green or something like that, right? You're not going to try and squeeze the golf ball in to there and then risk running the risk of hitting the ball in the hazard. Most of you listening to this, most golfers have not shot in the 70s. About probably only 1% of all golfers have ever shot in the 70s. So we're just going to talk to everybody else. That's all the folks who have shot in the 80s and higher, right? So let's just erase some of this, put that center dot back in there. All right, so there's your target on every approach shot. It's going to be that little green dot right in the center. And kind of a corresponding piece of golf gold that goes with this is that if this is your target spot because you've never shot in the 70s, you're aiming for the middle of the green, and this is 150 yards away from where you are, you are going to make a mental adjustment, and you're going to imagine that the distance that you're playing to isn't the middle of the green distance, although that's still your target. You're going to play to a distance that's towards the back of the green. That's about one club more than what this is, so somewhere in the 165 range, right? So if 170 is your 7-iron that gets you to the middle of the green, you're actually going to take one club more, hit your 6-iron, and still have the middle of the green to be your target. The reason for that is because overwhelmingly, when you look at the statistics, most golfers on their approach shot, they come up short of the green. Very few times do we actually hit the ball too far and it goes over the green. And the reason for that is our skill with controlling where the low point of our swing is just not really developed fully yet. And so we end up hitting the ground before we hit the golf ball, and that causes the ball to come up short of target. So if you take your 150 club, there's a high likelihood that you would never get it to the middle of the green. You'll be down over here somewhere or even short of the green. And now you have to play an additional shot that's not a putt, right? So if you are looking to get your scores lower, then this strategy right here is something that you have to follow. You have to understand that the center of the green is your target always. And then you need to get in the habit of taking one club more than what that center to the green distance is, and play for the center or the back of the green rather than trying to hit the perfect shot every time to the middle of the green. So take that to the course with you the next time you go play. Let me know how it works out. As always, go visit thisisgolfgold.com and check out what we've got going on there. You can read the blog. You can look at our lesson series. You can get the ebook. All sorts of cool stuff happening over at thisisgolfgold.com. So that's your Golf Gold nugget for today. That's all I got.